pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Louisa, would you do the roll call?
Absolutely. Al?
Present.
Teresa? Present. Michelle?
Here.
Kate?
Here.
Gladys?
Here.
Mary? Lauren? Juanita?
Here.
Richard?
Here.
Julie?
We have 3 absent. Okay. Thank you. Did you have to do the donation?
It's a donation.
The donation?
Yep.
Do.
Consent calendar comes after the consent.
Oh, okay. This time of the board, we will entertain public participation. The board welcomes public participation and asks that the comments be limited to 3 minutes. The public may offer objective comments of school operations and programs and that concerns them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel and students, nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public Schools. I have one person that have signed up to come before the board, and it's Melinda.
Okay, so first of all, lunch is still going really well, except for the delivery issues, which are really not so good. But I know they're working on it, so that's all I'm going to say about that. So I want to talk about substitutes just for a minute, and I'm not sure that it's something that we've ever considered or that you guys are aware of. Last meeting, Ms. Thompson talked about the 250 that we have on board this year, and which is amazing because that's a huge number. And as you all know, the sub problem is real and it is desperately needed. We need people so badly in our buildings. I know it's later in my notes, but I'm just going to say we had somebody come in and she quit after 4 hours. That was just the day of the last meeting, so I wasn't talking about it then. But yeah, so it's bad. So I just wondered if I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, I only know what happens when they come into our buildings or when they come into my classroom. So I had one for half a day last week and for a team training, and so that kind of was a big aware. But then we had ARC training, so we were out for just 45 minutes, somebody came in, so I only see that side of it. I don't see your side of it, so I don't really know what goes on then. But I just wonder, what are we doing as a district to set them up for success? Because they're not sticking around. Some people come in and we never see them again, right? It's one and done. The woman I spoke of earlier, she came in 4 hours, she said, this is not for me, I quit. Well, it's kind of like the middle of the day, so I'm not sure you can really just quit like that. But she did, and that's fine, whatever. I think she maybe stayed to the end of the day. But what training are we providing? What support are we providing? Are we considering safety? So the woman that came in for my half day for team, that's our new teacher program for those of you who are not aware. The person who came in for that, she had never been to Stodley before. She was completely unaware of any of our safety procedures in the building. She was completely unaware of the walkie system, the exit system, the lockdown situation, the evacuation, the da-da-da-da-da. And then we have all that printed for them in our subfolders, except she came in at 11:32 and she went to lunch duty at 11:40 and that was it. Like, so she had 5 minutes to maybe acclimate herself. So are we telling them ahead of time about the basic safety protocols? Even if there are safety protocols, like in every building, you need to make yourself aware of how to call for help, how to evacuate, how to lock down, how to get in touch with somebody if you need them, right? All those kind of things. Because in most cases, the people that are coming to us are not certified people, they don't have the natural living in an educational world instinct that we have, that, you know, things are just second nature, and they don't have, it seems, the backpack of maybe ideas about what it is that they can do when a kid backtalks, when a kid gets out of hand, when something happens. So if we want to keep these 250 people that we're so excited to have, I just wonder what it is that we're doing on this end to help those people and set them up, because we're in desperate times, as you all know, and if we got a really good sub person and we got the really basics into them, maybe they'd stick around and be good. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Anyone else want to address the board that hasn't signed the sign-up sheet? Seeing no, we'll move on down the agenda. I need a motion to accept the consent calendar. Michelle?
Motion that the Board of Education approve consent calendar exhibits 25 through 119 in accordance with minutes from 9/10/25, regular board meeting, 25-119, 9/17/25, Finance Committee, 25 through 120. Donation. Motion that the Board of Education, isn't that the same?
Okay.
Yeah. Motion that the Board of Education accepts the donation in the amount of $8,000 from the G&B Cultural Foundation for the purchase of art supplies at the elementary school level in accordance with 25-121.
Thank you, Michelle. Could I have a second to that motion? Motion made by Michelle, seconded by Kate. Any question concerning that motion? Seeing none, all in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so carried. Now, I'm gonna ask our superintendent to take care of the donation, because that donation was written into our motion, so we should not stop when we have a member reading out action item like that, okay?
At this time, good evening, everyone. At this time, I'd like to call up Elisa Marmer-Milks, Board President of G&B Cultural Foundation. You want to come have a seat? We are so thankful for the donation. We'd love for you to tell us a little bit about sort of the origin of the donation and how it came to be. Thank you.
I'm delighted to be here. The G&B Cultural Center was formed. The G&B Cultural Center is the site in which the G&B Cultural Foundation ran an open house for artists in the community. And for many years, we provided programs to the community, workshops for children and adults involving painting and printmaking and fabric work and decoupage and just anything the executive director came up with. And we also leased space to local artists who used, it was in a former school, and they used the former classrooms as their studios. So it also was a hub for artists to interact, get feedback from each other, plan projects and exhibits, and we also showcased art. And in fact, ironically, although we are dissolving, in 2024 we were elected Best Gallery in Fairfield County, and we're going to be, because even though we didn't technically operate as a gallery, you walk in there and art from floor to ceiling of all kinds, and you could just go bananas looking at everything and enjoying the kaleidoscope of art. Due to a number of factors that came together, unfortunately, at the end of 2024, we had to fold and dissolve. And because we are a 501c3 organization, we wanted to choose either, a government, what is the word I'm looking for? A government structure or another 501c3. And because we have always been committed to promoting creativity in the local community, we just wanted to donate to a place for a cause that we thought would be in keeping with that. And of course, children that's where creativity should be fostered and promoted, and it's hopefully giving a lifelong love of the arts. So we considered, the fact that Danbury is socioeconomically diverse and ethnically diverse, and also on a personal note, driving here from Richfield, I thought, what a cool place. I've got to get to know this city because it's a resource. I could see all these things. It's like this restaurant, that cinema. But we wanted the money to go to good use. We were located in Wilton, Connecticut. Wilton schools do not need this, and we wanted to cast a further net someplace in Fairfield County where we thought our mission would be promoted and honored. So I'm delighted to give you this check for $8,000. I wish it could be more. We did have other recipients. Yours is the largest, and I hope this money can be used to either, start, acquire materials for the arts that can last a long time, maybe easels or something, that you have been putting off or that you found wanting, or even if it's crayons, however you feel it's best applied. And I thank this opportunity to,
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you.
Can I give you the check?
Yes.
Drop the money.
Okay, all right.
Okay, this address is our treasurer's address.
Okay.
I'm just saying that in case there's a formal letter that has to go out. We don't expect anything, we don't require anything. Use it in good health.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm quite sure the superintendent find something to do with that
I
check.
already have it spent.
Do we have anyone from our educational staff? We move on down to our student representative. Would you identify yourself, please? Come up to the, yeah.
Good evening. My name's Gloria and I'm the
We can't hear.
Okay, good evening. We're 2025-2026 Bob POG Board of Governors in high school. My name's Gloria and I'm the president.
My name is Maliki and I'm the vice president.
I'm Audrina and I'm the secretary. And I'm Amelia and I'm the treasurer.
So for some updates at the school, the new transition with the West Campus and the main campus has gone very smoothly. We've had a great start to the school year. A lot of students have said that the crowding has improved in the hallways as well as like in cafeterias and things of that sort. We also had our open houses last week, which went very well, and our fall sports are in full effect.
Overall, I think school went really good. The evening classes is Sorry, I just wanted to say, this upcoming Friday is our senior fest, so that's something that's good. Next week we have homecoming and spirit week. Our board events are country versus country club. The 90s, our color wars, which is always freshman day, the sophomores are full, juniors green, and seniors black, and our orange and blue is for Friday, HS colors.
So coming up on October 22nd, we have our PSAT day for freshmen to juniors, and then the senior class will be taking their photos as well as putting their handprints up on that wall.
We also have student ambassadors to help run school and such, and the student academies too. So thank you.
No, thank you for bringing your concerns to us tonight. And be safe, going home, and I hope you have a beautiful day of school tomorrow. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna turn it over to the superintendent this time.
Okay, I think we actually have a somewhat of a quicker night tonight. There's just a few things on the superintendent report. I'd like to start off with just a little update from Dr. Seelig on our relocation and how that's proceeding. If you walk down the halls, you can, certainly looks like we're in transition and in flux. So Dr. Seelig will give us a little update on where we are in the move process and when we expect to be fully operational at the new site.
Thank you. So apologies for the mess in the building. We are in the middle of moving. So we decided to do this in a series of waves. So rather than take everybody at once and have IT scrambling to get everybody set up, we thought we'd go department by department over the weekends. So just this last week, the finance department, the superintendent's office, and a few other folks came over to the new building. So this coming weekend, we're going to move in Kelly's Special Ed and People Services Department. And then the week after that, we'll be bringing over HR. And then lastly, we'll be moving CRC from across the street over to the new building. And we do have a few other things that go into this. It's not just people and sort of the essential items. There's a lot of things in this building. If you had to clean out a house that was lived in for 30 or 40 years, you accumulate a lot of stuff. So there's also some processes where we're going to be going through files, making sure we retain what we need to by retention laws, but then also making sure we shred and clean up the building and start to get it ready for the work that we're going to do on it and the potential next tenant. So that's probably going to continue into the end of October. So we will be coming back and forth as we get through the files and all the stuff in the storage closets and get everything officially moved over.
Great, thank you. Before I go much further down the list, I want to stop and take a moment to introduce our very welcome addition to our cabinet team, Allison Greedy Johnson, who is our new Associate Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. She's sitting at the end of the table next to Kelly Treachus and Mike. We do not have a placard yet for her. That's on its way. But we are very excited to have her on board. There's so much work to do, and with Allison's skill set, we really look forward to the collaboration with the team and the work ahead. So I want to say welcome, Allison. Congratulations again, and we really look forward to getting going with all the work. And I'd also want to say welcome to Christy. This is not your first board meeting, but certainly your first board meeting as the chief of schools. So it's nice to have you here tonight. You will also get a placard for your name in the new building. Okay, so without further ado, we'll go down the list. We have just a very small event happening in October, just a teeny tiny event, and that would be the Gladys Cooper boardroom dedication. So I'm kidding, it's not a tiny event, it's a very big deal. So on October 22nd, our own board chair will have a full dedication in our new space for all the years of dedication and service, not just to our school system, but the service to the community. So it's going to be a very special evening. It'll begin around 6 o'clock. We'll send a few more details out, but it's a long time coming, and we're very excited to be able to kick off our inaugural year, starting with the dedication for our board chair. So, okay. Kelly, you want to talk to us a little bit about, we recently received an SBDI grant award, and Kelly will update you on what that is.
So last year we were the recipients of the School-Based Diversion Initiative grant, and it was for Broadview Middle School. The purpose behind the grant is really to focus on a few things. It's to decrease in-school and out-of-school suspensions as well as expulsions, and to increase referrals to other agencies for support, such as mental health services and other community-based agencies. So last year we were given the opportunity by the State Department of Ed to apply for the grant. We were successfully awarded the grant. And with that came a series of training for the Broadview team. So they partook in a 3-part training or professional development series for all teachers in the building. And then there was a small core leadership group and team that received additional training on how to coach and support and monitor the work and data that was going on at Broadview. The trainings that they received were around understanding adolescent development, how to create a positive school culture and climate, and crisis de-escalation and classroom management strategies. This year, we were given the opportunity to apply again. And Broadview was very successful with their outcomes last year. They met on all 3 goals, meaning that they decreased suspensions in and out of school, as well as expulsions by 25% over the previous year. And they increased referrals to outside agencies by 25%. So in doing so, they were compensated with some extra money to be able to continue to support some of the building-based initiatives to develop student culture, rapport, climate, and so forth. And then this year, they'll be the recipients of the grant. In year 2, there'll be one professional learning opportunity for the all staff that will focus on trauma and the relationships between students and teachers and how that's impacted by trauma, or how it could be impacted by trauma. And then they will also continue to receive that coaching and support by the core leadership team. And the goal is the same, to continue to decrease in and out of school suspensions, expulsions, and then decrease both of those, and increase referrals to outside agencies. So we are in the process of we were awarded the grant. There is some additional paperwork to be completed on our end. We are waiting for the ability to submit that in. And we will give you a progress report and status update. We are hopeful with our partnership. They have expressed some interest in possibly adding other schools in the future. And so we might be back to you with other schools that could benefit, particularly focusing around the secondary level.
And just to add, Broadview is off to a fantastic start. All the middle schools are. But we did have some challenge in the area, which is why we were awarded the grant to begin with. And they're off to a very solid start. There's a lot of positive information coming out of that school right now, and vibes, and the leadership has gotten off to a great start.
Teresa, do you have a question?
Yeah, just, does any one method that helped the success at Broadview?
I think first and foremost was a deep dive into the data, making sure everyone was aware of the numbers and the impact. We had seen a significant uptick in referrals to law enforcement for some of our youth. And we had seen an increase in suspension data. And so really making sure that teachers were aware of it and then how to appropriately intervene, and not always do that in a disciplinary fashion, but to focus on building positive school culture, climate, rapport, and strategies. One of the, with the grant, what we did with some of the money was, if any of you can take a look at the courtyard at Broadview, it needed a lot of attention and love, a lot. And one of the things that we did is to create a positive space for students to go, whether it's that they need a break or an outdoor learning opportunity. We were able to renovate the courtyard out there and bring in some appropriate seating. We were able to redo the entire blacktop area, concrete slab out there, fix some of the railings to make it safe, that kids could go out there during lunch and other activities. And then we were able to bring in some seating area that students could enjoy just during some free time like lunch, or during other learning times teachers could bring students out there. We also were able to resource, to help with some of their PBIS work, some incentives for kids. So one of the initiatives they did was a whole school-wide field day that students were able to participate in, and some of the supplies and equipment were purchased through the grant to build that positive experience that students earned. And then there was other incentives that students got throughout, from some token things to other opportunities and experiences, and that was funded through the grant. So it was overall a really positive thing.
Thank you. Kate?
Yeah, thanks for the information. With regard to the grant, what are the parameters of what we can cover? Are there other ideas that you guys are thinking about bringing forward?
I think in this year, it is a nominal amount for year 2, and while we're appreciative of the funding, I don't have the exact number, but we expect it to be somewhere around $15,000. So really continuing some of the work to continue the training and continuing to supply some of those resources. We do have some work that we'd like to continue to expand the courtyard active area, and then continue to purchase the incentives for students. Another thing that they purchased, just from a management perspective, that they're rolling out is the e-pass system, and that was purchased through this grant as well. So probably continuing those forward for this year is what we plan to do, and that is what we let them know, and how we got the award, to continue to implement the training, partner with them, continue to monitor the data, but really build on in year 2 the strategies. For other buildings in the future, we might be able to do other things that are not building specific. So I look forward to that opportunity, hopefully in years to come.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to continue on. We are in the process of developing, initiating a district climate plan that will require all of our schools to have a school climate plan based on recent legislation. So we're just getting going with that, and I'll have Kelly talk a little bit about that as well.
So last year, as I think many of you will recall, we passed the updated policy in this area. So that went into effect really for the start of the school year. And so now we work with the creating positive school climate and making sure that we're meeting the updated legislation. We are going to move along with 2 additional things. First is we are partnering with Advance on doing a restorative practices training, and we're going to do a trainer-of-trainer model. At the end of October, our administrators will receive the training that they will then turnkey with their schools over the following 2 months or so to make sure that everyone is aware of the fundamental premise of restorative practices and that we're building culture and climate around that. We will need to continue ongoing work with that. This will just be the initial training. We had done a pretty extensive restorative practices training prior to COVID with our entire leadership team as well as pupil services team. And then with COVID, and it kind of, we didn't get to roll it out the way we originally intended. So this will be a reboot of that. The second part will be every school, in addition to their school improvement plan, will be required to have a school climate plan. That will be a committee that's identified in the school, and there's particular participants that are required to be in that committee at the school level. We'll also have one at the district level. And then that climate plan will particularly focus on targets that that individual building needs. Those will need to be submitted to Dr. Casimiro by December, and then we'll certify to the state that we have those plans in place. We will continue our work with Advance later in the year after we do the initial training and the development of the plans to make sure that we're collecting and monitoring data appropriate to those plans and making adjustments as needed. We do see this as a trial year where we're rolling things out. We're going to do a lot of learning and certainly anticipate adjustments in year 2. But we're appreciative of the support with Advance. They are supporting many districts in this area, and I think they will help us to refine our work and make sure that we are continuing to develop and grow in this area.
Thank you so much for that update. We have any time that we make any amends to our district TVAL/PDEC plan that we have to submit to the state, you have to go and get board approval again. So I had a couple board members walk in and was questioned whether or not we were going to go through this entire packet found in your packet, so it's quite extensive. You have already gone through this entire packet. You've already approved this, I think, twice. But there's been some language change and some tweaks, and I'd like to ask Dr. Christy Salida to just give us a brief update on what those are, because we are asking you to once again approve this for submission to the state.
So, can you? Okay, so there was, I want to just say, first of all, having Bill, PDEC, which was TVAL, which was for millions of years, we've had like such a great time together as a team working on this past year, and I really appreciate the collaborative effort that the teachers and the administrators, we all worked together, and Parity was also represented to come up with changes. And because we did such a great job before, we did not have a lot of substantial changes. And so a couple of things that have changed for this year were the pre-conference meetings required me a lot of really good conversation about the importance of, before you're coming in for a formal observation, while it's really important to talk to the teacher to know what's going on so you can ask clarifying questions or give some feedback before you get in there. We also, the change was that there was a post-conference written reflection required, so that the purpose of the observation is to get feedback and then reflect on what was going on. So that was added in there. Additionally, the change with the mid-year written reflection. So this is like we're not talking dissertation level reflections. It's like here are my goals. Because remember, the goals are around building the capacity of the educator. It's not 42 goals. It's how am I going to be a better educator? What is the thing that I want to work on? And that goes for any level. And so this idea of the mid-year is kind of check, like, where are we at? Do I need to do a little bit more work here? It's like, hey, like this, actually I changed what I want to do, and we can have those conversations. So it allows that flexibility. We simplified some forms because it was new to us. We had Boost, and the forms, some of them were a little bit redundant, so we simplified them. We deleted duplicate forms, and as an administrator who did a million of these last year, I was very happy to not have to do a form that was the same as the other forms. I was just cutting and pasting that. So we were very reflective on that and took care of that. And then our post-observation reflection by the educator with feedback by the evaluator for our review of practices. So those are more things that we found that going through the process, not having known it ahead of time, once you go through the process and say like, oh, we need to tweak this, we were able to come to terms on that. And really that was the bulk of what was changed. Everything else has remained the same. I think there was one other thing was around making sure that we were clear around, there's 2 cohorts of educators. We have cohort 1 that are new within the first 4 years. Or if you were already a teacher in another district, it's your first 2 years here. Or the second cohort are folks that have been, you completed cohort 1 and you're, a tenured teacher. There's a minimum of 3 formal observations in cohort 1 and a minimum of 2 formal in cohort 2. So those were the kind of things that stood out.
So just overall, a couple of improvements, clarity, and elimination of some
Simplification.
Simplification. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Any questions? At the end, yeah, I think there's an action item at the end for that. And then the last one is just sort of a little bit of a placeholder and a reminder that even though we got off to a wonderful start for the school year, we're able to put a lot of great things in place. We opened a new high school. We're in the process of navigating 5 contracts right now and negotiating those. And there are still some looming questions out there concerning our budget, financial future when it comes to some of the federal grants, entitlements, questions around Title II, potential elimination of Title II after fiscal year 26, questions around changes to Title I and what that might look like. And so, before we know it, we're going to be heading into budget season. So it's like we've already gotten to place, and within a very short amount of time, we're going to be starting to talk about that again. So just putting it out there as sort of a placeholder that, the advocacy around the budget is going to be very important. Clarity, communication around what our needs are, and then just a realization that, we could be facing some more financial challenges outside of just trying to keep up with the price and cost of goods. So Mike and I had a great meeting about establishing a calendar that starts a little earlier in the year to meet with each location, which are each of our schools and our departments, to really ascertain the needs and to start those conversations a little bit earlier this year so that we can come out swinging with a number and begin to articulate and advocate some of what we need. And to work with our city partners on how to best proceed forward, but also be mindful of what we can do here to be as cost effective as possible in all the areas that we deal with. So just more of a placeholder to be thinking about that. That before we know it, we'll be in mid-budget discussions again. So, okay, and that's it for me today.
Ask Mr. Janelli, does he have? Mr. Janelli?
Okay.
You have a question? Do you have any questions, Rich?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We get down to board standing committees. Are there any committees that you want to report at this time? Okay?
I just want to remind Community Relations Committee members, our first meeting is going to be next Tuesday, the 30th. And you'll see in the future meetings, please remember that the policy committee meeting was scheduled for the 29th. We had to reschedule it. It's going to be happening October 9th, which is a Thursday. So please make sure you're RSVP'd. Thank you.
And to board members, I was going to leave this in my chairperson report, but since we bring it up now, please, when you get the invite, don't let Carol have to call you 2 or 3 times and send out another invitation. Please mash the button, yes or no, whether you're coming, so we can have a quorum. Thank you. Mr. Janelle, do you have anything on finance?
We had a finance committee last week, found it very productive. As a result, as part of the items on the agenda, would be the June 25 financial statement. I think this is a milestone. It's one of the few times that we've able to see a year-end statement. It's been challenging. I want to thank Angela and Mike for their hard work. I think in our next finance meeting, we're going to have a calendar of accounting closing to address what's the financial responsibility of the accounting department and due dates. One of our committee members asked an appropriate question relative to the year-end statement, when they could be available. I'm hoping that we can agree on at least 90 days from the date of the last fiscal year. That's something that we could work out with Mike. If you look at the motion that will be made on the financials, you'll notice that these are internal financial statements. We've learned to note this particular notification on there. And our feeling this year is that relative to the audit of 625, any adjustments made are not going to be material to any of these numbers. I do point out in the financial statement, you'll see a positive ending balance, I believe of about $2.6 million. That comes back to the Board of Education as part of the UR pass that stays within the 2% budget amount. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Janelle. Mr. Weaver, do you have anything that you would like to add to that?
No, it's not.
Okay, thank you. We move on down the agenda to action item. Mr. Janelle, could you do action item A?
Motion that the Board of Education accept for the June 2025 financial report as recommended by the Finance Committee, as shown in the particular exhibit 122, I'm sorry.
The motion made by Mr. Janelle, could I hear a second to the motion? Seconded by Teresa. Any question concerning the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion so carried. Okay, action item B, Teresa?
B, 2025-2026 Leader and Educator Evaluation and Support Plan. Motion that the Board of Education approve the 2025-2026 Leader and Educator Evaluation and Support Plan as recommended by PDEC in accordance with 25-123.
Motion made by Teresa, could I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Al. Any question concerning the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion so carried. Thank you all. Board Chairperson report. I certainly would like to thank, last week, I think that we had an excellent meeting, our sites and facility, and that's due to the leadership of Louisa. Mike did a beautiful job. The presentation was beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. So I want to thank you, and not just your committee, because we had finance committee last week, I think. We had policies, I think we had policy too last week. Go to so many meetings. And everybody did a good job, but I was just amazed at the Sites and Facility Committee when I got on the meeting. I sit back and I said, oh my goodness, we got a lot of question and answers. We got a lot of things that were happening in our school system that have been taken care of, and some things that we know that we've got to continue to work on to have them improve. And I certainly would like to thank Mike for all his work that he had put into doing that. So I want to thank you. I think I talked about, the invitations, and, when you get the invitation to a meeting, please click on the yes or no. Okay? I want to also stress to board members And we know that election is coming up, and some of you, she sent out the invitation to the Cajun Convention, and those that are still remaining on the board, you can sign up to go. I just would like to encourage you. When Kate offered free workshops, take advantage of it, because as a board member, you can learn an awful lot from those hour workshops. They do them, they start on time, they end on time. I did one last week on just board chairpersons around the state of Connecticut, and it was beautiful. Everybody respected everyone, and it was on Zoom, we start, and the topics they were talking about, how did your district, what effect did it have on your district on the first day of school? Okay, and we talked about that. They knew quite a bit about Danbury. I didn't have no. They knew a lot about Danbury, which was very positive information. And you know, the safety of our teachers and things came up like that. And what do you do as a board chairperson when someone comes to your meeting, a parent or something, and is really upset? And do you allow them to talk, or do you dialogue with them? And it was very interesting what the other chairpersons do. So good, I'm just saying, if you have an opportunity to take advantage of these free workshops that they offer. Okay. Anybody have any other? Yes, Kate?
I just have a question about the convention happening in November. Last year we were able to go to the delegate convention, which was the Thursday before. And I'm wondering if that's something that board might be able to, the board members who are going to the Cape convention might also consider doing this year.
We'll have a discussion about it. Okay? Yes, Juanita.
So I just want to piggyback on what the chair had mentioned about board members and attending different workshops. I was on a webinar today with Kate talking about the responsibilities of the board members. And, you know, we heard it the first year we came on. They talked about how daunting it is, how time consuming, it's a volunteer position, but you signed up for it. And so the responsibility of coming to these meetings, having read the material that is sent to us prior, coming prepared with questions or responses, it's just to have a refresh that Kate offers, these webinars, the workshops. They have one coming up on legal issues. Please take seriously the training that we need to continue as board members for our community.
Thank you, Juanita. If there's nothing else,
We have one other, yes, almost forgot. This last thing, it's a good thing. So our very own Teacher of the Year, Brian Bedish, has moved on as a semi-finalist in finalist and for the State Teacher of the Year. So he will be coming to Danbury to interview many people to ascertain if he should be the Teacher of the Year. So certainly, yes, there'll be interviews happening next week. So
how many other finalists?
very excited. I don't know how many they actually have, just 2 or 3, I think. Yeah, so he's in the last round. So Danbury has had quite a showing of folks at the state level. We've got one sitting here. We had Keisha Smith and Dana Perez and several others. So we have a lot of talent here in Danbury. We're very proud of that. So we wish Brian the best. And hopefully we'll have some good news. So yeah, that was it.
If there's nothing else to bring before the board, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Teresa, seconded by Julie. All in favor, could I hear aye? Aye. Good night, everybody. Be safe.